Hi, I'm Lyndon from the Academy of Off-Road Riding. Today we're going to talk about body positioning. Really important to be able to center yourself on the motorcycle so you've got lots of weight on the front, which does your steering, and enough weight on the rear to make it drive. The foot peg should be in the center of your boot. That way you've got nice support for your whole body and you keep that center of gravity nice and low. You can also reach the rear brake and the gear stick if your foot's positioned correctly on the foot peg. Next, these need to have just a slight bend in them, so we've got lots of nice suspension to help us cope with bumps, jumps, whatever the trail or track may throw at us. It's really important that our back's relaxed. If we have too much of a bend in our spine, either out or in, it's going to get really uncomfortable quickly. So just relax that lower back and it's ready to absorb. Really important again, like the knees, that our elbows have a slight bend and they're out. That way we can absorb really well with anything that comes at us through the front wheel and front suspension. Something that's often overlooked is your fingers on the controls. Most riders will be comfortable with 2 fingers on the controls. You will see guys that ride a lot run 1 finger. I personally run 2 fingers because it gives me a good balance between strength and comfort. But it's very important to have those fingers out there because the trail can dish up lots of different things really quickly and you need that quick reaction time. Probably the most important thing about this position is where you position your head and upper body. Really important that your head is over the cross brace of the motorcycle. That way, if we look down through the middle of the motorcycle, which is just here, all of my upper body is on the front half of the bike and all of my lower body is on the back half of the bike. And finally, and probably most important, make sure you look up so you can see what's coming at you and you're much better balanced when you're riding. The seated position, whilst you might think it saves energy, it transfers everything that your bike, your wheels and suspension hits through to your body. And it also makes the center of gravity of the motorcycle higher. When we stand on the motorcycle, it does a number of things for us. First, it puts most of the weight through the foot pegs. It allows us to get nice and forward on the motorcycle. It allows us to move around on the bike a lot more, both front to back and from side to side. But probably the main advantage is for rough stuff. It allows us to absorb and use our suspension in our body, which is probably going to always be better than the bike suspension anyway. The other thing we need to consider is when we accelerate and brake, that's going to have an effect on moving our body weight around. So when we go to do hard acceleration, if we can just get ourselves a little bit forward, kind of a similar position to we use when we're attacking hills, and if we're braking, we can move our body weight back, which assists with braking and control. And that's a similar to position that we'll get ourselves in to go down hills. There is a lot of corners that can be done in this central standing position out on the trail. You probably watch motocross videos and you'll see all the guys sitting down in this attack position around the corners. Now that is going to put a lot more weight on that front wheel and make it stick. The legs out there just in case you need it. And that's a good cornering position if you're really attacking the track. Most of your cornering, as I said, can be done in this position here with good throttle control through pushing on the foot pegs and just keeping a bit of weight on that front wheel. So it really depends on what style of corner it is. But if you watch a lot of the top enduro riders, they will do most of their cornering in this position here. Motorcycles are almost self-steering. So when I lean this bike over, you can see the handlebars actually come around, okay? There's a number of ways to make those bars come around. We can actually physically turn them with our body, or we can push on the foot peg on the inside. So if we want to turn left, we push on the left-hand foot peg, it'll pull the bike over and bring the steering around. Conversely, if we want to upright the bike or steer right, we then wait on the other peg to get the bike to change direction. Once that bike's leaned over, we do need to be careful that we don't lean in too far and make the bike slide out. You can see that automatically once that bike's tipped in, I've gone and put my weight on the outside of the motorcycle, keeping my body weight above the tyres to maximise traction. If I lean in with the motorcycle, the tyres start to lose grip, the weight comes off the suspension and the bike starts to slide out. So it's really important that you understand the difference. You've got to initiate the cornering by pushing on the inside foot peg and then we counterweight to get traction by putting our body weight on the outside of the motorcycle.